The PlayStation Vue application is apparently hackable and could be used as a userland exploit as another entry point that we could use to load existing jailbreaks on the PS4. So the PS4 just keeps getting better and better when it comes to jailbreaking, and this is no exception. So we first got wind of this from Gajini here on Twitter, basically saying that there's a funny thing happening at the PS4, and it might be funny for those who don't have a working disk drive, but we will see. Later on saying that PS4 WebKit-ish, but not WebKit, so high chance that the poopsploit is not working because of the same reason with the YouTube jailbreak, Netflix, and Lua exploits, just like how those cannot be used to load the poopsploit, and we have to use the Blu-ray exploit. It may be the same situation here with this PlayStation Vue application. We will see. And then also saying here that you don't need a license because the PS4 already has the PlayStation Vue application, and you need to use a backup and restore like the YouTube jailbreak if you don't already have the jailbreak. So if you don't have an existing jailbreak already, you will have to restore somebody else's backup that has the exploit already set up. You restore the backup file, it installs the exploit with the PlayStation Vue application accessible, and then you can launch it to jailbreak the console. That is the general idea. So yeah, this would be a pretty big deal because even if we couldn't use it to load the poopsploit, and that's not 100% confirmed at the moment at the time I'm recording this, but if we couldn't use it to load that exploit, we could at least use it to load the lapse exploit, which works up to 12.2 firmware, which would allow us to jailbreak without requiring a Blu-ray disc, without needing a working disk drive in your console, all the way up to firmware 12.02 and possibly 12.52 with the poopsploit of that does end up being possible, but if not, at least up to 12.2, using this PlayStation Vue application, that would be the general idea, and that takes us from having an application that we can use just to jailbreak the console like the web browser exploits, PS3, only works up to 9.60 firmware, so that would be going from like only being able to jailbreak up to 9.60 to an application like WebKit, right the way up now to 12.02 using the PlayStation Vue application instead of the WebKit app. That would be huge because it eliminates the need for not only a working disk drive in your console, but having to have a Blu-ray writer to burn your own disc or having to buy a pre-made disc online. It wouldn't have any of those requirements, at least up to firmware 12.02. You could load the jailbreak entirely without needing any extra devices, any extra hardware. So that is a pretty big deal here for the PlayStation 4, and I just wanted to mainly make this video as an update to let you guys know about that particular development. Now for the PS5, there's a lot of new etaHEN test builds that are being put out on the etaHEN public test channel over on the Package Zone Discord server. In the etaHEN public test channel, in the pins section, you can find all of the new builds of etaHEN, and some of them add some pretty significant new features here that I wanted to briefly go over. So there is the first 2.5b public test version, which adds the option to choose the cheats repo source when updating via the internet. So not only can you download the cheats from the etaHEN cheats repo, it also now gives you the option to download the cheats from the GoldHEN cheats repo for all of your PS4 games. So that's an option that's been added in there. You also have the option now to unpause KStuff when the game closes. So in the etaHEN toolbox, you can head down to the settings menu and then go into the KStuff menu, and you'll find that option to unpause KStuff on game close. Switch will then automatically unpause KStuff whenever you close an application. So if you forget to unpause KStuff yourself, you don't run into the issue where it can kind of freeze while you're trying to close the game. So that issue can be resolved by enabling that option. Now, there is also a KeyStuff plugin that can be used to automatically pause and unpause KeyStuff. So it will pause KeyStuff automatically after you launch a game. And this plugin was originally shown, I believe, by T-Rex777, but I believe it is from Void Whisperer, and it's still in kind of beta testing at the moment. I don't believe there's a full release of it yet, so that's why it's not going to be linked below if you're wondering. But basically, the idea is that this plugin can automatically pause KStuff when you launch a game, so you don't have to do it manually, and then presumably it will unpause when you exit the game, which is great. And it looks like it's going to come with some kind of config file, so you can adjust how long before it disables KStuff after you launch a game, because obviously certain games, have multiple eboot files that has to launch, so it might take a little bit longer before it's actually properly loaded into the game before you want to disable KStuff. You can kind of put it on a specific delay. That's something that we'll likely see a full release of hopefully soon, as another option if you don't like having to pause and unpause KStuff manually. then this is another option that can auto-pause it for you. Okay, so back to the etaHEN updates. We also have another update that was added, which adds a fan threshold setting to the toolbox to adjust the fan speed of your console. So that's an interesting one. We also have another version here, which adds a game app dumper to the game options menu for the PS5 app dumper version 1.07. So it basically integrates the 1.07 version of the app dumper payload into etaHENs. So you can just press the options button on one of your games that's running, and then select the option to dump the game, and it will run the app dumper, launch the game, and start dumping the application to your USBs. So if you want to quickly dump and decrypt your games and turn them into usable game backups, you can do so quite quickly and easily here, just through this option in etaHEN instead of having to do it through the items flow game manager, which is still an option, but you now also have the option to use the app dumper within etaHEN as well. So yeah, some pretty nice features that are being added there in etaHEN. It looks like these test builds all expire on Christmas Day, so 25th of December, which could indicate that we might be looking at a full release of 2.5B sometime on Christmas or New Year's, but obviously that's just speculation. It will come out whenever it is ready. So anyway, that is basically it here. Just a couple of updates there for the PS4 and PS5, but definitely some interesting ones. Looks like we're getting a new userland exploit for the PS4, which could at least allow us to jailbreak up to 12.0.2 without a disk drive, or Blu-ray discs, which is great, and maybe even up to 12.52. We'll have to wait and see there. And a lot of new etaHEN features coming in the next release that are currently available for testing. So anyway, that's going to do it here for this video. So hope you guys enjoyed this one or found the information useful. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe. And as always,